You look so dodgy when you stand like that. You look like you were sidling up to someone.
What?
Sidling up to someone.
What, like up to like a girl?
Yeah.
So.
Hey girl, let me show you my stopwatch. Hello again, YouTube. It is your boy, Ben Barrett.
And I'm Miguel Al, and we're here with another episode of the Weekend Escape.
Absolutely. This is the show where we tell you all about everything that's happened in the past week. For example, I learned that there's more to being a king than just getting your way. But I am still a king.
Yeah, and I learned that we're all connected through the circle of life.
A wimble way. A wimble way.
Hakuna Matata. What's been going on in the jungle of PC gaming? Did you hear there's been a burglary?
I'm going to put it all back.
What?
What?
What? I'm talking about EVE Online. What were you talking about?
Nothing. Who's been robbed in space this time?
Actually, robbed is the wrong word. That implies force, whereas this happened without anyone firing a single shot, so it's theft.
I knew those media law sessions were going to make you insufferable. I knew that was going to happen.
I'm not insufferable.
What's happened?
One of the leaders of a huge EVE Alliance, Circle of Two, defected to a rival. The judge, as he's known, swiped a ton of cash and assets overnight on Tuesday. He took 1.5 trillion ISK to Goonswarn, making this the biggest EVE theft ever, and there have been a lot of EVE thefts.
The judge, eh? Bet he's a law nerd too.
I don't know about that, but I can tell you that Goonswarn members have written the word LOL in warp disrupt bubbles, right over their newly stolen space station. Sort of like the dark mark at the Quidditch World Cup.
But in space.
But in space, yeah. The trolls are no longer in the dungeon.
Speaking of which, did you hear about this PewDiePie thing?
I did, yeah. Pretty hard not to. He did say a racial slur on a Battleground stream.
Yep.
And people were understandably very upset since he's an influential figure in the lives of a lot of young people.
Yep.
And the developers of Firewatch issued him with a copyright takedown notice so that he couldn't profit from his Let's Plays anymore.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, it turns out they were perfectly within their rights to do that. By streaming their game, PewDiePie is using their intellectual property, and any developer is free to issue takedown notices on those grounds whenever they like. Most don't, because YouTube coverage helps them to sell their games, and it would be kind of mean. But you see Nintendo do it pretty often.
Huh, good to know. On the subject of Battlegrounds, Fortnite is getting a Battle Royale mode.
I guess that makes sense. Fortnite has crafting and big open maps and all that stuff, and PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds has every player on Steam.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
In Fortnite, you get to use all of those fort building tools too, and instead of a cargo plane, it's a flying battle bus that drops everyone onto the map.
Oh, sweet. Of course it is. Yeah, no, that makes sense.
It does.
What other games need a Battle Royale mode?
Huh.
You'll probably remember that Hello Games came under fire because No Man's Sky didn't actually feature multiplayer, despite comments from the lead developer that suggested it might. Perhaps they should give us what we really want, an intergalactic Battle Royale. Just drop 100 players off on random worlds in an infinite procedural galaxy. Don't even give us a ship. Just let us scour the planets in the vain hope that we might actually see another person. Little do we know, we're actually completely alone and there's still no multiplayer after all. The winner is the last person to log off out of boredom. Take that, space geeks.
We all know that football is boring stuff for ball nerds, so let's spice it up with some murder, yeah? In Foot Battle Royale, copyright pending, so don't you lot nick it, thank you, all 22 players and the ref will be pitted against each other in a bloody fight to the death. You can only use your feet though, we're not savages. Just imagine tapping a pass into a landmine and blowing a group of disgustingly rich athletes into meaty chunks. The pitch will shrink, until eventually everyone's cramped inside a goal, kicking a spiked ball into each other's faces. Sportingly, of course.
This version of The Sims is still about self-improvement, but with a bit of a twist. The Sims 4 Pay Gap puts you in a small town with just 100 tiny flats and 99 other players. Battle it out to succeed in your job, of which there are only 5 going at any one time. The idea is to hoard money, with the motherlode cheat disabled of course, and then you buy up all the other properties, pricing players out of a house. The winner is the sim who gets the most promotions with the least amount of effort, grows into an elder, and tells everyone else they pulled them up by their bootstraps.
How do you make Tetris relevant again? By turning it into a fast-paced battle royale, obviously. If it can work for H1Z1, it can work for the Soviet Union's favourite arcade game. Here's how it goes. Every player is a block, and they have to parachute into the grid. You kill other players by filling a line and defeating them. You've got to tuck and shift yourself around as you fall, landing in the most awkward position possible, making it harder for the next player to delete you. It's abstract, sure, but some of the survival games released on Steam nowadays only have about 6 art assets and half an animation between them. I reckon it'll sell.
What game comes to mind when you think to yourself, needs more guns? Gone Home, obviously.
Obviously.
Let's outsource some DLC to id and fill that empty house with the cries of other players. 90s nostalgia? Only if it comes with railguns. If you arrive home and find your family missing, you're going to want to hunt down the people who took them, right? Who cares if they took themselves? Still a bit rude, really. I mean, they knew you were coming home. Also, guns help with investigations. That's why Batman famously never leaves the cave without one. Just imagine cornering other players when you catch them reading your dad's letters and then popping a bullet in their skull for safe measure. That's what it means to be family.
I'll tell you what, real life Battle Royale sort of terrifies me.
Well, it's a good job they're just in games and films then, right?
Speaking of games, what's on sale?
Was that really the segue you were hoping for?
Be nice.
That was what you were going
nice.
for.
I'm being the best I can be for the people of YouTube.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, if you say so. First up in the Steam sale is a game that's not very well known.
Oh.
Yeah, that's right. Over on Steam, The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim Special Edition is on sale with 50% off until the 19th of September.
Not very well known.
Yep.
Alice, it's like the most popular RPG role-playing game, just so you know.
Okay.
It's on every platform. They announced it for The Rock.
What about the potato?
I think that's coming next week, yeah.
Well, from everyone's favourite Bethesda Studios, and winner of more than 200 Game of the Year awards, the special edition of Skyrim allows us to explore this wonderfully vast fantasy world in amazing detail. With remastered arts and effects, dynamic depth of field, better reflections, and stunning god rays, you can rediscover the Thieves Guild and join the Dark Brotherhood all over again.
Sounds like you know quite a lot about this incredibly unknown game.
That's the joke, Ben.
I don't. What?
What's next?
But you.
Yeah, but
there wasn't.
No.
You said that.
Just. What's next?
Dead by Daylight is also on sale with 50% off until the 18th of September. It's a 4 versus 1 multiplayer horror game where one person takes on the role of the murderer and the other 4 have to outrun, outsmart, and basically just make sure they don't get got.
Sounds actually terrifying.
Aren't you scared of basically everything? You were near to tears in the Sun the Skies stream on Tuesday.
There was nearly a clown on screen, and I hate clowns, and don't be mean.
Right, you're bringing this on yourself with your clown talk.
Well, moving on. What's the final game in the sale?
That would be Miscreated, which again is on sale with 50% off. It's currently in early access, but is already a popular hardcore survival game over on Steam. It's set in a post-apocalyptic future where you need to survive against mutants, players, and Mother Nature.
Ooh, sounds spooky.
Does it?
No, not particularly. Just going with the scaredy cat brand you seem to have created for me.
We almost attend to our personal brands.
Why don't we move on to something I'm really good at?
Isn't it the patch notes section?
Exactly.
But
exactly. So Ben, I know you read patch notes before bed.
Every night, yep, that's the routine.
But most of us find them quite boring.
That's your problem, not mine.
So in an effort to make them less dry...
Oh god, it's this again.
I am giving you 10 seconds to tell me everything that's coming to Hearthstone on Monday. Hearthstone? Hearthstone.
Right. When am I starting?
3, 2, 1, go.
Innovate is an extra mana, Hex is an extra mana, Fiery War X is an extra mana, Spreading Plague is an extra mana, Murloc War Leader no longer gives health, and if you've got any of those cards, you can disenchant them for full value. I have a hold.
Whoa, 10 seconds? You got loads off then?
Yeah.
That was really impressive.
It's the first one I've actually known.
Yes.
Now you can tell me everything that's coming to PUBG soon, with obviously no visual aids.
No visual aids. None.
Won't be any.
None.
Starting in 3, 2, 1, visual aids.
A new map, foggy weather, a new semi-automatic, better shadow rendering, Tommy gun now at world spawn can now holster grenades after cooking them, new town added to Enrago.
Ow.
That's that then, is it?
Comments? It's time for my favourite and slightly more calming part of the show where we read the lovely comments from the lovely viewers.
Oh, you're not making it about you this time?
Would I ever do that? That would be insane. It's already about me, but that would be insane.
Oh, this is a bit awkward then.
Why? You've made it all about you, haven't you?
Might have done.
Alright, what you got?
On last week's episode of the Weekend Escape, Casey A says, "Lol, well done Alice. Don't worry Ben, your beard is glorious."
You are correct, and I see that there is a compliment for little old Ben in there.
And on the same video, Aaron Couple says, "Good job Alice." So, that's 2 praises for me and only 1 for you.
One is at least better than none. Speaking of which, Rich, Matt and the other Ben sat down to have a talk about Destiny 2, which in case you're wondering is still not on PC. And Agalma John Doe says, I liked Destiny 1, but I really disliked 2 because it was not a real sequel, but just an update to the engine.
What are your thoughts on Destiny, Ben?
Well, I think we discussed this a couple of weeks ago. I don't believe in predetermination as such, but I have heard some rather reasonable arguments.
Never mind. I meant the game, obviously.
How in the world could that possibly be obvious? If the Weekend Escape isn't a platform for me to pontificate about philosophical arguments, then honestly, what in the world is it for?
I think it's time to end the show.
And that is that. Another successful show done, I think.
Another round survived in the Battle Royale that is life. High five, Ben.
No, not from me.
You'll go first. Remember to like, subscribe and share and ring that bell, and we'll see you soon.